Welcome, dearest listeners, new and old, to the 10th episode of God Worshipping Society. That's right, episode 10, the magic number. We can now be sure that this is an established podcast, and that the primitive stage of podcast development has attained a state of completion. The groundwork for mature and professional content creation firmly set in place. Furthermore, with 10 episodes now under our belt, it seems that this show is in a less precarious position than previously. We have a regular schedule, a loyal audience, and more generally, the economies of scale necessary for the shielding of an enterprise from, say, a sudden decline in quality, or any legal issues that may naturally unfold in the course of any business's activities. Certainly, we have a way to go insofar as further growth is concerned. I will confess that our audience remains on the smaller side, but I can assure you that this confession is only a confession rather than a mere statement of fact, by virtue of my regret in merely stating it. It is not a confession because the fact in itself is troubling to me, but only because I had not intended, prior to a sudden and impulsive urge to be honest with my audience that merely accounts for my inherently good nature, to publicly announce the modest proportions of our audience. My plan had been to accumulate an audience of precisely such a small size, without making any public comment pertaining to this accumulation. I now, however, feel compelled to acknowledge that it is so. Previously, I had felt that such a fact may prompt prospective listeners to turn away from the show, sensing that a dearth of listeners may be indicative of a broader issue of low-quality output. I have, however, come to realize that this is no issue. My theorem that this realization is grounded on proceeds thus. First, consider a podcaster with a large audience who, for whatever reason, announces to this audience, incorrectly, that they are small. Now, this would certainly become a self-fulfilling prophecy, for the audience, sensing that they are consuming cringe content with no broader social meaning, would largely abandon the podcast. Now consider, by contrast, a podcaster whose audience is considerably smaller. You will perceive, dear listener, that the effect of the same announcement remains the same, and the effect, in this case, is the reduction of the podcast's audience into a minuscule stature. Now, let us consider, finally, a podcast with precisely no listeners. What would be the effect? There would be exactly no effect, for there is no audience to be put off. This fact merely reflects that fundamental operation in mathematics, wherein the multiplication of any number by zero merely reproduces zero. My point here, you will understand, is that God-worshipping society rests upon an entirely distinct ontological foundation than all other podcasts. Our show is, itself, a realm of pure negativity, of ceaseless doubt and unquenchable desire. We do not produce content, but the negation of content. When a system extends entirely from a negative principle rather than an affirmative one, it takes on an entirely distinct character, and, by means of the inversion of its boundaries, the system, though closed it may be, is openly closed. Whatever I may achieve in my life, money, fame, fatherhood, respect, etc., all these things are worth nothing to me when compared to this profound innovation in the art of podcasting that we have achieved here. And my pride raises further still when I recognize that this tremendous feat was accomplished in the course of just 10 episodes. Amen.
beautiful. A sermon, truly.
Yeah, and a lecture as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That was very good.
Yeah.
Quite,
Prove my theorem.
I'm not sure whether it's a somber start, but it's quite a chill Sunday today.
Yeah, it's very grey today. It's horribly grey.
It's grey. It's like not too cold, not too hot. It's just very middling, everything. And to start us off with that, nice chill episode for number 10. And
I had a wasp in this room earlier.
that would be the opposite of chill. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Let's talk about your wasp.
Well, I think it's a wasp. It's either a very large wasp or a hornet, but I couldn't really get a good enough look at it because it's so dark today to see which one it is. Because the difference, you can tell very clearly what the difference is when you look at them based purely on the coloration. Because, hornets are they're not black and yellow. Yeah, they're like brown and yellow. They got a reddish kind of tint to them. But I couldn't see exactly what the coloration was. So, but it could be a small hornet or a very large wasp.
There's kind of two questions that come to mind here. Is why is there a wasp or a hornet hanging around on the 11th of January, and why is it in your conservatory?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of cracks in this conservatory. I will say. So it probably got in through a crack.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of why it's here on the 11th of January, you'd have to ask a zoologist or
maybe it knows about
an
the
ecologist.
Worshipping Society and has decided to join us for this episode.
It wanted to be, if you will, a hornet on the wall whilst we produce it.
Yeah. And see how the machinations that produce this excellent radio.
Mm-hmm. Well, what it is it's nature. It's symbolic of nature accepting the podcast.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we
totality.
Like.
Yeah. The natural order. Because think about it like this: civilization been going on for like 8,000 years now.
Yeah.
This long winding road through war and conflict or whatever, and that whole time, civilization has been at odds with nature.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been trying to get away from nature.
Mm-hmm. And it's been parasitically leeching off of nature.
Yeah.
But dialectically, we have to return at some point to the state of nature. We have to re-harmonize with nature. And we will eventually develop a civilization that is harmonious with nature. And when nature realizes this, it will turn to look civilization in the face. And through their intersubjectivity, nature and civilization will each achieve self-consciousness.
So this is the first step, is it?
Well, this is a sign that it's happening through the vehicle of this podcast. That's why there's a wasp in my house.
Yeah, on January the 11th, when it's cold outside.
It's hiding in a Christmas decoration. We have the Christmas decoration. We have a red orb with like gaps in it.
Yeah,
it's got like a geometric.
Is it like a big bauble or something?
Yeah, but it's got holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I noticed the wasp this morning, I had my speaker set up. I was playing jazz music, and it was like xylophone jazz music. And
Hornets love jazz.
Yeah, well, the hornet got stuck in this ornament that was spinning around because it was getting blown around by the. We have an electric fireplace. Yeah, and it blasts out air, and the thing was getting spun around. And I just thought, this must be such a strange experience for this hornet. That is the last experience it will probably ever have is being trapped inside some kind of Christmas decoration that's spinning around with hot air being blasted at it while xylophone jazz music plays.
That hornet is cursing the fact that you've not taken your Christmas decorations down yet.
That's probably what this is really all about, yeah.
And that's a bad portent. You should have taken them down like last week, mate.
Apparently it's bad luck.
It is bad luck, yeah.
Yeah, although, so when are you meant to do it? You're meant to do it...
12th night, which was Tuesday, I think, the 6th.
So that doesn't make any sense, because if you're Orthodox Christian, you celebrate Christmas on the 7th.
Yeah. Are you?
And I'm non-denominational.
Right, okay.
So, I'm
a
hybrid of...
Keep it open.
I'm a hybrid of all the various branches of Christianity.
Yeah.
And Islam and Judaism. And
yeah, I mean, if you just celebrate all religions, you kind of get holidays all year round. Take Christmas off. Take the summer when Ramadan's coming up. Chinese New Year's not in like next
all the
month,
Hindu
probably.
festivals.
Yeah, just every bloody week. Hanukkah before Christmas as well. You could, mate. You could basically not get off work most of the year. Religious reasons. That is the ultimate excuse to do anything.
If you practice every religion throughout your entire life, when you die, do you go to every kind of heaven or every kind of hell?
That's like hedging your bets, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like
if
investing.
One of them's right. Yeah, diversify. I'm diversifying my soul. And dear listener, by listening to this podcast, you too are diversifying your soul.
Yeah, this is an investment in your soul.
Truly.
In your continued development. I got an advert today from Jordan Peterson to sign up to his... and he was in the ad talking.
Wow.
He's being very... Yeah, he looks like he's getting in better health, actually. He looks a bit more full. You know, he's been very gaunt for a long time.
Yeah, has he stopped crying now?
He wasn't crying in the ad, but he was getting pretty emotional. But he was like... He was like, you know... Do your future self a favor, man, and sign up
to Top G University.
Yeah, it was basically his version of that, where instead of it being like we're gonna make you a man, it was like we're gonna make you like a cultured. Instead of being like we're gonna make you a rich man who gets loads of pussy, it was like we're gonna make you a cultured man
who doesn't.
Yeah, who's got a developed soul or whatever.
Yeah, who cleans their bedroom and washes their balls.
Yeah, and takes shitloads of painkillers.
Yeah, and then cries publicly multiple times. A sign of not at all overly emotional person.
Yeah.
Gotta let it out.
Well, the thing I noticed was that they were only offering tuition in one STEM subject. It was basically humanities. Biology.
Oh. Well, I guess that's got that kind of, you don't want to say it, but like social Darwinism touch to it. You know, very like 1930s. Because, you know, biology, you can kind of spin that into potentially into a bit of a humanity with your social engineering kind of aspects to it. Yeah.
I wonder if it's that. It might also be methodology, I guess, because...
Yeah, scientific method. That's always good to teach.
But I feel like biology is less mathematical than physics or chemistry.
Yeah. They're all like applied versions of math. Like physics is like applied maths, chemistry is like applied physics, and then biology is like applied chemistry, basically.
Yeah, they're all just layers of abstraction on top of each other.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess it's like it's easier to talk about biology because like these aren't. I assume these aren't proper academic lectures. I imagine they're like
no, probably
know like they're kind of TED Talk type things probably.
Yeah.
But like. You can talk about biology in English or whatever language, and you can explain the meaning of all the terms pretty much without recourse to mathematics. Whereas,
I think in terms of like pop science, biology and physics are the main targets for pop science.
Yeah, no one cares about chemistry.
Well, like, who thinks, you know, pop science, oh yeah, I want to learn about organic chemistry. Whereas biology, you've got so many interesting things going on like, in your body, and you don't need to get that down to detail, because otherwise you're just going to be memorizing genes, or like various pathways, because that's what it boils down to. It is just chemistry. Or physics, because it's all astrophysics. You can talk about black holes and dark matter, and it's just magic, right? So people love listening to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And biology, you got the dinosaurs too. You can kind of throw that in.
Mm-hmm.
Pop,
but I feel like what it is, like when you hear them talking about physics in pop culture, it's normally cosmology, I think.
Definitely.
And I think that's the same. The reason why that's commonly talked about is the same reason that biology is like easier to talk about as well, which is that they're both. Cosmology and biology are largely histories, you know. Yeah. Biology, like they used to call it natural history back when it was just taxonomy, essentially, before they figured out genes or anything. And same with cosmology, you know, you're talking about a story where one event happens, leads to another event, and, you know, there's characters in the story, there's, you know, stars and planets. And
I think that's the thing with the cosmology aspect, is there's like, that is real, it's quite inspiring, you know. men flying out into space and landing on the moon. You know, probes, computers that have just been sent out of the solar system. You know, that's inspiring stuff. And biology, I think, has the health aspects, which is why people like it. Because you can talk about the effects of smoking or drinking or going to the gym or whatever, and you can talk about that in layman's terms, in the guise of GCSE biology or whatever. And there you go, you got pop science.
Yeah.
Whereas pop chemistry, it's like when was I like a lot of these science videos, and other than a couple of channels, chemistry is way down the bottom. Even maths, I think. Pop maths is way more prevalent than chemistry.
Do you know what I hate about fucking maths? Is
what do you hate about maths?
A great start to a sentence. Is when mathematicians start talking about maths being beautiful.
Yeah, that's very much I fucking love science, isn't it?
It really pisses me off. It's like, come on, man, it's not that beautiful.
I respect maths. I respect maths a lot, but I know what you mean. But actually, for the purposes of doing things.
What do you mean you respect maths?
Well, I don't like maths, and I grew up not being very good at maths. I don't know. I don't like maths, and I disrespect maths. Fuck maths. All my homies hate maths. Yeah, or you don't like. I don't know. You don't appreciate it as a subject or as a tool. And I hated maths growing up, but it's only now I've had to use it a lot that I have a distasteful respect for it. Like someone who's beat you in a fight.
Yeah.
You're like, fair enough, you beat me. I've got to give you that, but I don't like you.
That's like a very Japanese kind of attitude.
Yeah. That's how I model my mind. To bring it back to Japan again.
This was meant to be a Chinese podcast, and it's rapidly turning into a Japanese podcast, and that's making me furious.
Let's swing towards China.
I can't help it.
Let's swing towards China for a sec. I've been reading a book called Breakneck by Dan Wang, and I thoroughly recommend it. It's about American versus Chinese society and how they build things. And it's a lot about how fast Chinese have been building because they're like an engineering society, which has bled into social engineering, one-child policy. Because I remember us talking about how they build loads of shit with really bad health and safety practices. Yeah. And then he contrasts that with America and their loyally society, which is extremely good at stopping things happening. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about, this 700-mile long rail line from Beijing to Shanghai, and the Americans were doing one at the same time from California to Los Angeles, something like this. Somewhere, San Francisco to Los Angeles, something like that. Right. And the Chinese did it in 3 years. They were like, we're doing it. It costs $30 billion. Bam, they've done it. And meanwhile, it's taken the Americans 30 years. It's cost them, $100 billion. And the current estimated time frame, the discrepancy, because they say 2030 to 2033, that discrepancy is as long as it took the Chinese to build the entire thing. It's a really interesting book. I thought I'd recommend it to you. It's well worth a read.
Who's the writer? What's he
Dan
called?
Wang. He's a Canadian, a Chinese-Canadian guy who lived in America, then lived in China. So he's got quite an interesting contrast between the two. It's just this kind of loyally society versus engineering.
Yeah. And then in the UK we have an extreme version of the American case where we just don't build anything and then give up.
Yeah.
Like HS2 and all that.
We pretend we're going to do it and then don't. Well, I drove. I was in the Midlands this weekend and I drove past the HS2, one of the building sites. It's very quiet.
Oh, really?
I'm sure you can imagine. It's been about the same as it was since I was up there last year.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. The thing is, they do these things to create jobs, but, in your head when you hear that, you think the jobs they're creating must be, construction jobs. It's, jobs to get people building stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, actually the jobs they're trying to create with these projects is just more, pen-pushing jobs. Just more
it's environmentalists and...
Yeah.
All these random... In fact, that was another point he makes in the book. It's they tout how many jobs they're making. But really, that's all they care about. It's how much the jobs are worth. It's not the actual rail line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the essence.
They're both suffering housing crises. the Chinese have too many and the Americans have too few. It's like a really interesting dichotomy he presents. It's a good book, anyway. I thoroughly recommend
That's
it.
the essence of what's called Keynesian economics, is this idea, like, it doesn't matter, as long as the government creates jobs, it doesn't even matter what the jobs are doing. The point is to get income flowing around the economy.
As long as there is a job that does something.
Yeah.
Even if it's
So it's like a famous... I think Keynes said something like, the jobs could just be... You could just be hiring people to dig holes and then fill them back in again at the end of the day. It doesn't matter.
That's,
like,
that's a very Soviet approach.
Yeah. Well, it all came around at the same time. These are all like economic ideas that emerged primarily in the first half of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And it's, like, you had the word that was popular at the time was planning. Everyone was talking about economic planning, how we need to plan the economy.
Planned economies, yeah.
Yeah, and then it fell out of favor as the 20th century progressed. And then we had neoliberalism or whatever. But that was the essence of... The whole idea of Keynesian economics is really simple, is that the economy is a circular flow of income. And so if you have a recession, the problem is just that there isn't enough money, there isn't enough income flowing around the economy. So it needs an external injection from the state of income.
It's not about what you're doing, it's just about pushing that money round.
Yeah, and then the result is what's called the multiplier effect, where once you inject a little bit of income into the economy, then that feeds into enterprise and so on. So it comes back around, and the result is that you jumpstart the economy and jumpstart growth again. And then the counter argument is obviously, well, the problem is the state is deciding where the growth goes, so you end up misallocating resources because the state doesn't know as much as the market can know. That's 20th century economics. That's the
having played an extremely autistic city building game called Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, planned economies are pretty difficult to do, and I'd never found a huge amount of success.
Well, the Soviets didn't even, like, when Lenin was in charge, they abandoned having a planned economy. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but Lenin pursued a market economy within the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So like what China did in the 70s when Deng Xiaoping came into power and reversed Mao's economic policies and pursued this agenda of opening up, what he was doing was really a rehashing of what Lenin had done in like the 20s when Lenin announced something called, I think it was called like the New Economic Policy or something.
Yeah.
And they basically said like, we're going to have some capital in this economy, essentially. It's too early. We can't progress to communism yet, so we got to have some market activity going on and some businesses or whatever. And we'll just regulate it and have a big public sector on the side. But that was, so even Lenin did that.
He does talk in the book about how, like, one of the greatest jokes the Chinese have pulled is saying that they're calling it the Communist Party, even though they're like an ideal right-wing society with like no health, no social nets, no safety nets. Like just huge amounts of production and market capital, and then the Americans are like the exact opposite. He's like, it's like a right winger's wet dream in there.
Really, in China.
Yeah,
I guess if you're like the kind of right winger who likes authoritarianism and like big public sector, if you're that kind of, if you're like a neoliberal type right winger, I don't think, not sure you'd be too keen on China.
Speaking of authoritarians in the United States, should we talk about the right-wing death squads that are now patrolling the streets of the United States?
Yeah, the Sturmabteilung.
Yeah, it is. I did think it was very SR when I heard about this, especially when you see the shooting. This is was it Minnesota or Minneapolis?
It was Minnesota.
I think it was Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
Do you
remember that with Joe Biden?
Yeah. Mayo for Sam.
I think it was Minnesota. I'll just check.
Yeah, I think it was Minneapolis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Minneapolis? Minneapolis?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. And some woman. I don't know why they were going after her, but just a bunch of unmarked blokes get out of their cars, tell her to get out of the car, and she drives away, and they shoot her point blank multiple times.
Have you seen the footage that the shooter took whilst he was doing
No, I haven't. I've only seen the civilian one from the side, the most famous one probably.
Yeah, it's really weird because he filmed it with his iPhone.
Yeah, I saw him filming when he was coming out.
Yeah. You don't. Right at the moment when he shoots, he obviously like isn't concentrating on what his hand with the phone is doing, so you don't really see. But like, the crazy thing is they shoot him and then he shoots the lady and then just walks away and calls her a bitch while she's like her car is slowly crashing into
many other cars. Yeah.
While she bleeds out to death. And
and people like, where's the ambulance? Bitch. And they're like, oh, we're not calling one. We've got our own guys. This is really crazy. America has such a weird governmental system. Especially watching the mayor be like, can you go away now, please? Can you just leave the town?
I just feel like Trump's trying to achieve... I don't really understand politics. No. Let me preface what I'm going to say with that. People, but I get the impression that Trump is trying to achieve some kind of some kind of power that just being president doesn't traditionally give you.
It is SA shit, isn't it? It's like
he's trying to expand,
not sexual assault for any
fancy
misunderstanding. Yeah.
The trouble with them though is they're not, unlike the SA, they're not gay.
Not yet. But they're not even wearing marked. They're not even wearing like marked outfits or anything. They're just blokes. They look like right-wing death squads, you know.
Well, I think a lot of them are just random people. Like when Trump got elected, they were just like, "Oh, ICE, sign me up," and they were just
I can go around these jobs. People.
Yeah, I hate those people. Give me that power. Yeah.
The coping of like all the people giving press conferences about it. And being like, yeah, he got run over once, so he's probably a little bit tetchy about this kind of thing. Well, don't give the man a gun and put him on the streets.
Yeah. Do you know what that reminds me of? Is like when I think it was like in the 2010s when one of the big school shootings happened in America, and there was this thing floating around that some like Republicans had this idea that they were like, you want to keep those kids safe? I'll tell you what you do. You put armed combat veterans in the school and let them patrol, and they'll keep your kids safe. And it's like easily the funniest idea I've ever heard.
Is that arming the teachers? You just got to arm everyone. Arm the kids.
Let's just get a bunch of guys with extreme PTSD who, like, a lot of them probably did kill civilians in Iraq or whatever. And let's put them in schools with AR-15s, and let's see. And they'll keep the kids safe.
Keep them around the chemistry classes, so when when something blows up, they'll become the new school shooters. At least you'll know their names immediately.
Yeah.
You know, so there's really a positive to it.
America, like, as a concept, to me, when I think about it now, I just feel the sense of, not me personally, but like when I think about the concept of the USA these days, it's just a sad idea.
Yeah,
it just seems
it feels
really like it's
fallen,
failed.
Yeah,
it's just it started off as an idea, as like a project with all these big hopes and like big declarations about human nature,
human rights,
liberty,
and
autonomy, and like also this idea of like, you know, we're in the new world. This is like a new thing. It's a fresh start for humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did that, and then they didn't get rid of slavery, and then they had decades of these tensions growing around that, and then they had this horrible civil war where 600,000 people died, and then it was like, and then they got through that, and it was like, you know, Lincoln got everyone, you know, like motivated, and they got rid of slavery, and they were like, this is it, it's a new start. And, you know, times were tough, but then, you know, you had FDR, they won the Second World War.
It says war unites the country. Without wars, that's the real military-industrial complex of the US. It's like the whole government doesn't work if there's not a war.
No, well, that is kind of the problem. But like, I remember when we were kids, there was this sense of history as a progression, as an upward progression. And America, there was this feeling that America was, at this point in history, driving that. And that things were getting better, things will continue to get better. It's like this kind of general culture that happened in the mid-20th century because America won World War II, then they did the civil rights stuff, they landed on the moon, they did all this crazy shit. Yeah, and now it's like somehow just gone completely wrong, and it doesn't feel like it's sustainable, and it's like, I don't know, it feels like something has been lost, and it doesn't feel like America as an external onlooker anymore like it used to. It feels like a different country now.
Yeah, I mean the early noughties were like, I think, the peak of like Americanization over here. The internet's really booming, a lot of pop music. America seemed a lot cooler than it is now.
It seems so cool. I remember when I was 10 thinking like I wish I could move to LA.
Yeah, and Silicon Valley, and now it's America's just booming.
And now I think of LA and I just think of like fentanyl addicts dying
and
on
homeless
the street.
People.
Yeah, and just violence and like tensions and all this kind of shit.
Do you think that's us growing up, or is it America?
Do you think what?
Do you think that's us growing up, or is that America growing down?
Well, both. I mean, like, obviously you grow up and you have a better understanding of reality or whatever. But I mean,
there's definitely something to America, isn't there?
Even just looking at culture, you compare. It's such an obvious take to make, but you compare like the way Obama spoke with the way Trump spoke, or Biden for that matter. And it's something has gone horribly wrong. That's not me saying I love Obama. Obama was an amazing president. That's not the point I'm trying to make. Because, it applies to George Bush or Clinton or, Reagan, Bush Sr., any of those guys. Like, you compare how they spoke to how politicians are talking now, how, like, Vance or Trump talks, or any of them.
Yeah, they do seem really insane.
Yeah, or, like, the Democrats, you remember fucking Biden's speeches when he was president?
Whatever words you could get out.
Like, what was happening within the Democrat Party that they had that guy in the Oval Office, and like how does that happen? I don't get it. I just don't understand at all. How do you have a system where that's the guy running the country? Same with Trump, where it's someone that old and like.
This is the thing. I think all these old people. I think I'm hoping that Mamdani's kind of a sign of some more younger people replacing the old guard, because the old guard are really old.
They're getting older and older.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because the Western population has got older. I don't know about the demographics in the US, like their age, but I mean, obviously boomers are a massive part of the electorate in the US, just as they are in the UK and Europe. But it's, I don't know. It just feels like it's failed and it's dead. It's like looking at a corpse rather than looking at a living person. It's the same. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about the UK. But I feel like we've been dead for a bit longer because we're just an older country. Yeah.
It's not as shocking.
Yeah, and I can kind of see a path forward as well, because I think about European federalism or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, the UK might be dead, but we could build something else.
Yeah, there's a place to go, like a more defined path forward.
Yeah, there's something to hope for, some kind of future, and I think
But where does the US even go? I mean, it balkanizes, right? Or it splits into 3 countries that all hate each other.
I feel like that's probably more likely, yeah. You'll have, on either coast, you'll have a small but very rich, well, small by those standards, but very, very rich kind of coastal nation. And then you'll have the Midwest, which will just be some probably quite poor former industrial nation. And then you'll have the South, which will also be rich, but with completely different kind of economic goals to the coastal countries. But I think you're probably right about the balkanization.
A new Silicon Valley kind of place, because that's where all of Elon Musk stuff is. It's where huge amounts of tech creators and tech bros and YouTubers and things live. Yeah, exactly. The comedy mothership
in Austin. Yeah,
the comedy mothership will become the new Oval Office of the United Southern States.
You know how in the comedy Mothership he has on the walls he has like pictures of because you know how stand-up comedians used to put out records of their specials, like on vinyl, and he has like all the album covers of like the legendary comedy specials from the past, and then like at the end of it, it's he had a picture of him. I think he had that taken down because people were clowning on him for it.
Understandably so. That is extremely funny. So so they were really harping on about the fact that woman was a lesbian as well. I think they were really trying to make her seem like a wrong un by pointing out that she was lesbian.
Which is like, wait, what level are you stooping to? Where that even like
insulting the dead?
The woman was a Christian. Yeah. She was literally a Christian, I swear. Like,
yeah, she had a bunch of kids, and apparently she'd been like stalking ICE agents all day. She had nothing better to do.
Yeah, but I mean, even
so, they shot her.
Like, yeah, like it just isn't relevant. Like, because ultimately the law is that it would have to be in self-defense for it to be a valid shooting, and we see the video, and like, you know, the guy wasn't going to get run over by her.
No, he was stood to the side. He was literally like leaning his arm round the car.
Yeah, and she was turning the wheels around to avoid him. Like,
I probably would try and run away if a bizarre paramilitary unmarked squad turned up and told me to get out of my car. It's like a cholo gangbang, man. They'd probably want to steal my car.
Yeah, like, they're not even police. Like, I'm sure in America the police can be pretty fucking scary compared
People
to
had
the
to
UK.
call the police about it.
Exactly. So it's like, how do you even know what you're supposed to do in this situation? Because you got these people acting as if they're law enforcement, but like, I don't really know what their position is. Like, you know, they clearly don't even have body cams because the guy was filming with his phone. So like, they don't have the same kind of safeguards against them that law enforcement
That's really weird that he was already filming. You know, he was the only one filming as well.
But not the fatal moment, of course. Why was he filming it though? That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But it's weird. You know, do you know what it reminds me of? This is a really mundane British analogy.
Okay.
But it reminds me of the TV license people. Because the way they present themselves is that they are legal, like they act as if they're law enforcement.
Yeah.
For anyone who's not from the UK listening, I'll explain this little thing. This is kind of an interesting thing we have in the UK. So, well, I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard about it, because it's like one of the main memes about the UK is that we need licenses for everything.
For everything.
But like, but like, technically in the UK, if you watch TV, that's important. Not own a TV, but watch TV.
Watch live TV.
Watch live TV, then you have to pay a license, which is something ridiculous. I think it's like 100 and some. How much is it? Do you know?
Yeah,
£185 a year.
I'm not sure. Is it that much? I think it's like 110, something like that.
Maybe that. It's a pretty big amount of money to be.
It's £174 a year.
Okay, there
or
you go.
you can pay 60 if you've only got a black and white TV.
Why do they still have that?
That's so useful.
It's such an old fucking country. But yeah, so you have to pay a license, and what happens is if you haven't registered for a license, you get letter after letter in your postbox telling you that, basically trying to scare you, and they'll write things like on the outside of the letter it will say like failure to respond could result in legal liability or something like that, and then you open it up and it's something about how, you know, you need to pay us this money if you watch TV, and the only way you can stop the letters, or indeed the visits from the license enforcement guys who come to your house and like they're cops even though they're not, the only way you can get out of it is by filling in some form online where you just declare that you don't watch live TV. Yeah. So obviously, it's like impossible to actually enforce this. So the only way they can try and do that is through fear, and they do target like old people, but they are just salesmen. They act like they're police, but they're literally just salesmen.
Even, they actually outsource the enforcement to some other company.
Yeah,
it's just some company comes around like, have you got your TV license, mate? And you don't even have to talk to them. You can just close the door. But they'll try. They'll try and trick you into like letting them in. You know, it's really dodgy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can I have a cup of tea, mate? Oh, is that a license you've got there? I mean, is that a TV?
Yeah.
Have you got a license for that? I keep my
But if
TV
they come
license
to visit-
framed on my wall.
Of course.
No, I don't have one.
I don't-
Fuck them. I'd
I
fuck
don't
the
have
BBC,
one.
man. I do not
Fuck
have
the
a TV
BBC.
license.
Fuck Jimmy Savile. Fuck the UK government. Fuck
They
the
did.
British state.
Tell you what, actually, they did. They sent me a text because I watched the Remembrance Service on BBC iPlayer, and they said, hang on, you've said you don't watch TV, and we've just caught you. And so I went online and said I don't need one again, and they haven't bothered me since.
Yeah. But if they do show up to your property, all you have to say is please leave.
Yeah, well, you can just say go away, or just close the door.
Yeah, but legally, if you ask someone to leave your place of residence and they don't immediately start leaving once you've said that, they are technically committing trespass, which is a tort that can be sued for in court. So there's some legal advice to the audience if you're getting hassled by the BBC's fucking crony, their goons.
The BBC death squads.
Yeah. That's really our kind of comparison in terms of ICE in the US. So I understand what it feels like to get shot dead by an ICE enforcement officer.
Yeah.
It's similar to opening a letter from my postbox that
I immediately throw away.
That I immediately ignore. That's trying to gaslight me into paying the Queen. I'm sorry, the King. Not my fucking king. More money for him and his paedophile protection club.
You got a license for that table, mate? Oh, that seats 4 people, doesn't it? Have you got a license for a 4-person table? No, I don't. Yeah, that's an extender as well, isn't it? That's an extending table. That one, isn't it? No, it doesn't extend. No, what's that flap? No, it's just my table flap.
What is that from? Did you just come up with that?
I'm just looking at my table. I'm just
very
imagining
nice.
The thing is, my TV's hidden, as you can see, behind my front door, whereas my table is in full view of my front door. So if they come in, I've got an unregistered coffee table and an unregistered dining room table. So I can't hide it from them.
mate.
I'm fucked.
Yep.
And
you're making an offensive podcast.
And I am a detracting podcast.
An obscene
podcast. Yeah, it's morally wrong, is what we speak. We've sworn at least 10 times.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
You know, the kids they're gonna all become perverts after listening.
No, they're not,
this.
because the Online Safety Act will protect them.
They can't access the podcast.
Yeah.
Until we're bought out by Spotify and become shills like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, the God Worshipping Society Experience. That would be the name.
GWSE. I look forward to it. What else? Maduro as well. Donnie's been up to a lot at the moment.
He's
really trying to deflect. He's really trying to deflect from that poor woman being shot in the street.
Yeah. And the Epstein thing. No one's talking about Epstein on Reddit anymore. Come on, guys.
I don't know anything about what's going on with Epstein. I know that they bombed Venezuela. Have we heard from our correspondent, by the way?
No, not really. Although it does seem that he's enjoying the news. I'm getting a huge amount of messages from him that I haven't had a chance to open yet. I'm getting a lot of videos of people in prison cells and stuff like that, but I don't really know what that's about.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but essentially we covered this on the last episode. I think we gave pretty good analysis. I think Trump can do whatever he wants. Democracy, guys. The American people voted for this.
You voted for this.
So
it's your fault.
Yeah, so that means the people of Venezuela need to respect
the American democracy.
The will of the democratically expressed will of the American people. And that's my attitude in all kinds of war. I'm pro-democracy.
Yeah.
He's
still got a hard on for Greenland as well. I remember that's come up.
Greenland is a part of the Americas. So I don't really see why... Who is it? Sweden wants to own it? Denmark. Who gives a fuck about Denmark? Why do they even want to own it? What is there? Oil?
I don't think there is much. There's not even that many people. There's undoubtedly oil. and like natural resources. There's got to be some rare metals or something under Greenland. What's the point otherwise? What's the point of Greenland? Come on.
Missiles.
Yeah.
Put missiles there.
More missiles. You can base them in Greenland.
Those are really the only two reasons you're gonna try and annex any country these days.
I think Donnie said he was scared in case China or Russia took over Greenland because they don't want enemies as neighbours.
I would really like China to take over because it would just make no sense on a map.
Yeah, they just fly over.
And like
the
a
top.
world map. Yeah, it's just like
That
there's
would be
just
so
a piece
random.
of China in the
From
Atlantic.
exclave, just in the middle of the Atlantic.
And you can go there and get like Chinese food. That would actually be sick.
Man, that'd be
that would be
sick.
so cool.
Yeah.
You could go on a holiday to China and it would be way cheaper and it would be a very short flight by comparison.
And once you're in, then you can take the long haul round to, China proper.
Yeah, you could stop off along the way.
We could
That would be sick.
send the small boats to Greenland and make them Chinese citizens. I'm sure there's no
Yeah.
moral issues with that. I'm sure they wouldn't go into camps immediately.
Hey, if I got put in a Chinese camp, I'd be a happy man.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a very
Yeah.
quick way for that to come true.
Look, it's all about preserving the unity of Xi Jinping thought.
Right.
And if that means me eating nothing but filthy rice and living in a ditch somewhere in a camp whilst I mine lithium batteries or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it, because it's about, as Jordan Peterson says, life isn't about comfort or happiness. It's about meaning.
Mining Chinese lithium.
Yeah, and the meaning of my life is
gotta mine the lithium.
condensed entirely in Xi Jinping thought. So
yeah.
we got Jordan Peterson thought. I feel like Jordan Peterson needs to go on a communist kind of thing now. I feel like that's
He's
the next
so
stage.
anti-communist though. He'd never do that.
Yeah, no, but he could just flip flop,
Yeah,
just
I
go
guess nowadays
communist.
you can just say whatever the fuck you like.
Because look, the woke era is over, so being communist, that's going to be edgy again.
No, that's true. Being anti-woke's boring now because who's
It's just
woke?
old people. Yeah, being communist, you
asleep.
got like Mamdani. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm proudly asleep.
Sleeping gang. Yeah.
Sleep gang.
Just completely unaware.
I'm so unaware of issues right now.
If Jordan Peterson went on if he completely pivoted and went for an entirely woke thing, I think that would be pretty cool. I would like that.
Don't wash your balls. Don't clean your room.
And he starts eating loads of vegetables and stuff. He goes vegan. That would be
Yes. The complete opposite of his carnist diet.
Yeah, he would be a vegan and like a feminist. Yeah. Don't tell women what to do with their bodies, bucko.
I love women. I love my daughter. My daughter's not insane at all.
Michaela can be trans. She can be called Michael.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah,
And she also doesn't eat meat.
Yeah, she goes vegan as well. And then his that would probably kill him, I feel like. The amount of damage he's already done to his digestive
Changing
system.
his body so drastically.
If he suddenly shifted to a vegan diet, I think that would probably finish him off. Or he'd just become the opposite of everything he is now, which is just what we've been talking about. So really, it's just a continuation of the theme.
Yeah. There's protests in Iran as well.
Yeah, what is that about? What are they? What could they be protesting about?
I'm sure there's no reason, but old Binny Netanyahu wants to get involved, as does Donny. Mm-hmm. It's going on everywhere, man. It's crazy, actually.
The times they are changing. To quote
times they are changing
Bob
in
Dylan.
Iran. Yeah, maybe we'll get more photos of all those swimming pools and women not having to wear full body coverings.
That is such an overdone thing on the internet. I've seen so many fucking photos, which say photo taken in Tehran before the revolution,
the classic.
circa 1975, and it's just women in bikinis, and it's like, this is low hanging fruit, guys.
Protesters gather at number 10. What are they going to do about it?
What are they protesting?
This thing is so annoying. What's the point?
I hate protesting. Can I get that out there? I really want to say one of my least favorite things in the world is definitely protesting. I really hate protesting.
What's Sir Keir Starmer gonna do about it?
Yeah.
He's single-handedly gonna go over there and shoot the Ayatollah.
Yeah, whilst like Bond music, James Bond music plays.
This is 006, almost there. Although Kemi Badenoch would support UK military strikes against Iran.
Of course she would. She could just say anything. It's so easy being in fucking opposition. You say
Kemi
whatever
Badenoch
comes to mind.
she seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. I think people are pretty happy with her. She's only on minus
really
20% approval rating at the moment. Which is like
she
20 points better than anyone else.
That is a shit job as running the Tory party now. That is like a really terrible fucking job to do. Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's got to be a bit of a clusterfuck.
Imagine waking up in the morning as Kemi Badenoch and knowing like you've got to go to Prime Minister's questions to represent this dead ass party that no one is going to vote for again. Like for what? For absolutely what? And you can't even, and your main competitor is Reform, and you can't even shit talk them because you're probably going to have to seek a coalition with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a terrible situation. Yeah. And I wanted to circle back to protests as a concept. I want to ask protesters, anyone, whatever political allegiance they have, if you've ever been to a protest, what were you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
And did you achieve it? I already know the answer to the second question is no.
Yeah. It's like all the Palestine
I fucking
ones.
hate
like,
them.
what's the point? Like, what are you going to do over here?
Go and join Hamas, you pussy.
Go over to Palestine. if you're really that keen on it, why are you protesting in the United Kingdom in central London? Like, what's going to change here? You're just annoying people.
That's
just
what it is.
Getting in the way and intimidating people who live here. Like, fuck off.
Yeah,
it does grind my gears as well.
When I was at law school, we had in my class there was a mature student, right? And she had been an English teacher her whole life, and she was probably in like her early 50s or so. Yeah. And she was really annoying.
Okay.
But
she was one of your classmates, right?
Yeah. I remember we had a seminar where we were learning about constitutional law, and we were learning about like what the rules are for protests, like when police are allowed to step in and disperse them, all those kinds of stuff, because it gets quite complicated, and you've got the European Commission of Human Rights involved, all kinds of stuff.
Everyone's best friend.
Convention on Human Rights, I mean, not commission. But I remember the instructor was like the same age as this mature student, and they started getting into a conversation about all the protests they went to when they were young, and like bragging about all like the anti-Thatcher protests they went to in the 80s. And I just sat there thinking like, yeah, they were like, she was saying like, yeah, I was always there, you know, I was there for the whole protest, chanting Maggie, 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 out, out, out. And I just thought like, well, why? Because it didn't fucking get her out of office, did it? She was in power for like 10 years. So what the fuck is the point in this?
It's kind of anti-democratic, trying to get, isn't it? Like,
well, yeah, and I don't get it. And they're like, we're not trying to make anything happen. We're just expressing our views and raising awareness. It's like something I hear like neoliberals talk about a lot. This is like a very Dave Rubin kind of perspective to have. Like circa 2016 is like, I believe in free debate. The reason I believe in free speech is because I think that when you have free speech, people with different perspectives get into arguments. And then because they get through an argument, whoever has the better position or belief system is the one who wins the argument. And then the other person gets persuaded. And that's how we make progress, because whoever has the best argument wins. I will tell you now, I've never once seen that happen when people have an argument. It does not fucking work. And if that was true, then like none of human history would have been necessary, because we could have just dialogued. Yeah, just dialogued our way through the whole thing. We wouldn't have had to have had World War II or, you know, any of that shit. We would just
dialogued our way through history.
Or that tragedy in 2001.
Yeah, yeah, or the tragedy that happened the other day. None of it would have happened.
Please get out of the car. No.
Way through things.
Okay.
I respect your opinion as a woman.
I respect your opinion as a proud lesbian mother.
Yeah.
You can please drive away. That's what I would say.
I hate this idea that like they're always talking about like the right to protest being like necessary to have a democracy. And it's like, I don't get why at all. You could literally have a democracy where they outlaw protesting.
Yeah.
Like, you could do that. I mean, it's not got anything to do with democracy. And it's like, it's such a bad argument for freedom of speech as well. When I hear people say that shit about debates and why we need to have debates, it like puts me off of free speech. It makes me think like, I kind of wish I could like, get get some cops to like put their foot on your fucking neck, you dumb idiot, when you say shit like that. It's fucking annoying. I don't believe in that at all. I don't believe in debate. I don't believe in dialogue. I don't believe in protesting. Yeah, it's like, when has a protest ever achieved anything? When was the last successful protest? I mean, people will talk about Martin Luther King, but like, did he really like? Is it really because of him that the civil rights stuff happened? Like, or is it because of the Black Panthers who had fucking guns? Yeah. And the government was terrified of a black rebellion in the US. Is maybe that's why they did it? I don't know. What seems more likely? That a guy saying, let's be nice to white people, did it, or that it was... Let's be nasty to white people. Yeah, Malcolm X, like, hiding in his house with a fucking marksman rifle or something. It's like, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, that's my take for today, guys.
That was very good. Should we end with some fun articles?
Sure, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey says obesity is a disease. Thanks, Oprah.
I mean, it is a disease, but it's a disease... The fact that it's a disease doesn't retract from, the fact that it's still caused by the person suffering from it.
Yeah. She does take Ozempic.
Well, that's why.
So in the most American way, you just got to take a pill.
Yeah.
What countries do you think have the highest obesity rates?
Hawaii.
In the world? Yeah.
I mean, it's not a country, but...
Yeah. As part of the US. So there's a map here of like fat map.
Mm-hmm.
The US is at 42.9%. Egypt is at 43%. What the hell?
Egypt?
Yeah.
I would have thought they had a pretty good diet. They don't drink.
I wouldn't expect that. Saudi Arabia, 41.1.
Yeah,
Kuwait, 45.4. Jesus.
Yeah.
Iraq, 38%. Georgia, 39%. And Romania, 38%. There you go.
Where's the UK?
The UK is 28.7%.
You know what? That's better than I thought, because when I go out and I walk around the UK, I see a lot of fucking fat people. So
Ethiopia,
I can't imagine...
2.4%.
Yeah, congratulations to Ethiopia, who are doing really well on public health.
China at 8%, Japan at 4.9%, North Korea at 11%. Are you sure about that?
Well, how do they even get the figures?
I'm surprised about that one. Yeah. Well, there we go. So there we go. Thanks, Oprah Winfrey. That was an interesting bit.
Yeah.
And Gen Z's latest obsession, synchronicity.
Carl Jung.
Yeah, apparently.
Is that what they're talking about?
I think so. More and more of us are looking for signs to make sense of the world.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the archetypes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You ever read any Jung?
Spirituality. I've not, no.
Ah. I feel like that's very trendy at the moment. Not Jung specifically, but I feel like psychology and like psychoanalysis.
I feel like it's almost like psycho-spiritualism, isn't it? There's a lot of people I know who love like tarot and astrology
Well, this is the thing. Wait, boomers had this. They had the same thing. But with the boomers, it was their equivalent of this was when they all got into like Indian spirituality.
Yeah.
And they all started doing yoga. Yeah, hippie, sitar music, all that shit. That was when, and they got into it because they were like, we're sick of old-fashioned European Western culture. We want something new and different. So we'll go for this Oriental, exotic kind of spirituality. And now what we're getting amongst young people is the inversion of that. So it's the same thing, fundamentally, which is people basically not coping very well with the end of religion.
Yeah.
And seeking something that's almost like religion, but is more like science, which is a valid thing to search for, I would say.
Yeah.
But the difference between this and the boomers is instead of it being like, instead of the exotic thing being another part of the world, the exotic thing is the past within the West. That's where the exotic. So, you know, it's like the same. It's like the Agartha stuff. It's like, you know, Greek statues. They're having the Greek statue profile picture on Twitter. Like, if Twitter was around in the 60s, everyone would have Buddha statue profile pictures. You know, it would have been shit like that.
I heard on the news earlier that Gen Z are more likely to believe in God. Well, they said are more likely to believe in God than any other generation, which I think is probably wrong, because medieval people were probably way more likely to believe in God. But
yeah, they would be so pissed off if they heard that.
Yeah. But I thought that was interesting. I can kind of see that.
Yeah. Well, I had a look at this.
Nature.
I had a look at the statistics that supposedly show that Zoomers are like going to church way more.
And it's actually just not true. It's like,
yeah, I think I know one person who does.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who does. Like, the overall decline, there's an overall long run decline, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's gonna happen because it's been a fucking long time. And if you really think that like belief systems from 2,000 years ago are gonna answer the problems that we have today, except in the most abstract general sense, which might be useful for an individual who needs some kind of hope or whatever, but like isn't really going to be useful
and who
on a
doesn't
grand
want Jordan
scale.
Peterson as their guidance.
Yeah, and you know religion's dead because even though there are all these people who say I'm religious, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim or whatever, their religious beliefs are always subordinate to their political beliefs. You know, you become Catholic because you've already become a conservative and you like trad person or whatever, and like that's just the next. That's part of that armory of symbols that
the archetype of exactly. It's another
same thing with Islamism,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Islamism. Like a lot of the Islamism is growing within Western countries. It's homegrown, like ideology.
I feel as though it's almost a response to kind of identity politics.
Yeah,
it's like, well we have to brand ourselves with as many identities as possible. Where the right-wing conservative identity is Christianity.
Yeah, and if you come from you know a Middle Eastern family and you're living in the UK, you feel the same things as like a white guy growing up in the UK.
Yeah,
you have the same experiences and the same feeling of alienation, but because your heritage is different, the thing that you're drawn to is just like an Islamic version of it. But it's the same thing. It's literally, and actually, those two guys, if you compare them, they all believe in the same thing. Like, they all have the same political beliefs. So it's funny that they're all completely at odds with each other, because they all want the same thing, just with different, you know, a different stereotype that it's dressed up in. But yeah, all this religion, it's algorithmically guided religion. So it's not real. Like, if you looked at the growth of religion in, let's say the late Roman Empire, when Christianity was blossoming, like, that was religion-driven religious growth. You know, that was religion, that was the algorithm of the time. Yeah. This is driven by the algorithm, you know? So back then, there would have been other things that were subordinate to the religion, like politics or whatever. The religion was at the top. That was the thing guiding our decisions and our ideological beliefs or whatever. But now it's the algorithm doing that. So religion has been subordinated to the algorithm. And all these religious beliefs that these people have these days, they don't have any meaning except insofar as that algorithm is there. If you isolated those supposed religious beliefs from that kind of algorithmic basis that grounds it, there would be nothing there. It only has any meaning by virtue of being part of this broader constellation of things that fit within that algorithmically generated
like
category.
Online personality, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't buy this whole thing about like, oh, religion is going to return and we're going to become hyper-religious society again. It's like, no, we're going to become a hyper-algorithmic society, and religion and all the other stuff from the past is going to be part and parcel of that, of how that algorithm functions. But they're just words in a language that the algorithm is, you know, in that sense. The algorithm is the language. Concepts like religion or whatever, those are just, you know, individual words or whatever. They're just the building blocks of it. Wow, I went on a
that was quite a tirade. But, you know, it's food for thought before the next episode. I think we have made time there, absolutely.
Yeah, not a bad episode.
That was a good episode, yeah. Hopefully it was interesting for all the people at home, for the fam.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us, guys, on the 10th episode. A real milestone. Every episode seems to be a milestone at the moment for some reason.
It is. Well, you know, it's young, you know. As you said, with a kid, it's like, you know, first birthday. Bloody hell, it's still going. You know, now 10. God, it's got common entrance soon, you know, if it wants to go to a fancy secondary school.
Yeah, 11 plus next year.
11 plus, yeah. Next week. Fucking
yeah.
hell, you better start studying.
I'm going to need to start hitting this kid, because the teens are on the way, and those years are going to be painful unless I beat some discipline into this fucking thing.
We'll take it out to the woods and play Battle of the Somme with it.
Yeah. It has to learn to respect me as a father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, chaos will ensue.
Another father. My two gay dads. Oh, it's going to get bullied at school, whatever we do, I think.
Good. That's part of the plan. That's part of the toughening up.
It's personality development.
Yeah. To be a strong, brave gay man once they reach adulthood.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or a beautiful woman, which was the previous metaphor.
Which is the same thing. So let's be honest there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining. Please give us some kind of interaction. Otherwise, your mother will die in her sleep.
As always.
And we'll see you next week. Have a great week, guys.
Amen.
Amen.